Hello everyone, this is Ray Kierna with Copter Concepts. I am showing my new version of the Hughes 300. I know I've been through a lot of different types of versions of this particular model. I did have some individuals that wanted direct drive only. I tried. Direct drive just requires just way too much power to get in the air, and the model has to be extremely light. I went back with the gear drive, as you'll see here. So I went back with the gear drive, very simple, easy to assemble. Gear drive, I went with the gear drive only because it allows me to have a slightly heavier model, but yet use way less power to get the rotors up to speed to fly. So I did decide to go back with the gear drive. This particular model is exactly at 29 grams, even with the weight on the skid for countering the turn during a flight. Rotor blades, of course, have been designed to be a curved rotor blade, which is made on a form, and it's a 3-inch diameter form that the rotor blades are made on, so that they have that curve that I'm looking for. Rotor hub was designed a little bit, so it's a little bit thinner in design. As you see the flybar, I like this type of assembly to the rotor hub, so I'm sticking with that. This one's got the weighted flybar system. Now, this can be built either way, with the paddle version of the flybar or the weighted version. I've done a few rotor power-up tests with this, and weighted ones seem to be fine. So I don't think I'm going to have any issues with this as far as flying goes. The model is a nice model. Again, the tail rotor assembly, I'll show a close-up of the tail rotor assembly. I wanted to try, instead of the aluminum tube and the wood dowels for attachment, I decided to go with a non-pitch adjustable tail rotor blade, and I'm going to see how that works out, because I really don't think I need to have pitch adjustable tail rotor blades. If the tail rotor blades work out quite well, I mean, I'll see when I test this in flight. It seems to have plenty of torque compensation, and we'll see if any adjustments need to be made by at that point. The tail rotor blades themselves, believe it or not, were made out of 2 laminations of bond paper on a 3-inch diameter form. They're actually quite sturdy. Were pretty easy to make, actually, and I think they'll do their purpose. If you look at the tail rotor hub, of course, it is a cut angle for the pitch of the tail rotors, so it's a made tail rotor hub assembly. It can be probably just a little bit thinner, but otherwise that, not a big deal. Foam tail appendages, of course, so those fins are made out of lightweight foam, so they didn't add much weight there. Pulley assembly in the rear, of course, is the discs with the sandpaper core, and you'll see there is, that black edge that you see in there is very fine sandpaper for the core. Again, this particular pulley design allows the belt not to slip, and you can have absolutely minimal tension. You want minimal tension on the tail rotor belt, because otherwise you could lose, have power reduction loss from the main rotor shaft and the power. So I have very minimal, tension on the tail rotor belt. But the sandpaper on the balsa core for the pulleys does help with slippage, so I don't use grooved pulleys. I find these to be about the best as far as pulleys go. There's a solid shaft in the main rotor shaft, so this way the aluminum shaft cannot bend or get damaged if it hits something. So this is going to be my final, version of this particular model. I think I've got everything fine-tuned here. The tail rotor boom assembly is tongue and groove, so you can see it's tongue and groove. It attaches to that foam core. The fuselage is a foam core, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside, which is this. So it's a foam core, and it's covered with a paper designed covering, so the builder can actually color this whatever way they want and attach it to the foam core. This, of course, saves weight. Of course, printed tissue, with the pattern on it, would be lighter than the paper. This is just regular bond paper. So I mean, I'm sure I can save a gram or two there. The landing skis, of course, are laminated landing skis out of 1/32. Landing gear wire has paper fairings on them. I decided to make a little foam motor, kind of scalish kind of thing, and attached it to the fuselage. So it's just, two pieces of foam with the motor artwork on each side. I'll turn it around so you can see the other side. So there's the other side of it as well. So you can see it's the same. It's just reversed artwork, of course, but it's all foam, adds no weight whatsoever. The fuel tanks are also made out of foam core inserts, slightly hollowed out to save weight, of course. Mine, of course, are solid, but the builder can hollow it out, with just a small circular cutout there, and that'll save weight. Like I said, my model weighs in at 29 grams. I'm sure some more experienced builders who are more familiar with saving weight and lightweight but probably get this down to about maybe 24, 25 grams, which would probably make it quite the excellent flyer. My orange one, as you see in my video before with Jack Skellington in it, actually flew very stable. This should be no different. It'll fly stable. Some of the features on this particular model, of course, is you've got a gyroscopic rotor head, which will work just fine. The rotors are attached by very thin wires underneath and some bond paper plates. This allows for me to tweak in pitch adjustments to the rotor blades if need be. In other words, if I need more pitch or if I get higher lift on one rotor blade than the other, I can adjust the pitch to compensate, to equal out the rotation on the rotor head so you get a stable tracking of the rotor head. So the rotor blades themselves are pitch adjustable. I've had no problem adjusting pitch with these wire hinges. So the wire hinges that are built into the rotor hub and then the blades are attached to is kind of like a lead lag hinge. It allows the rotors, each rotor blade, to rise up and down to its own accord and move forward and aft to adjust itself in flight, which does add to the stability of the model. So I put in quite a few details on this model. So like I said, I'm a heavy builder. I got little navigation lights. I got a pilot tube in the front. There's another navigation light there. It's kind of like a radio wire. The other features on this, of course, is there's an aluminum tube right there in the boom, which allows me to put a wire through it so I can put it into a winding stooge to stretch wind the model. So this way you can get maximum winds in this model. Here you see this gray feature here. It's kind of like a square tube. That allows me to put a locking wire up through the hole that you see on the pulley here. So I can put the locking wire through that hole into this gray tube, which allows me to lock the rotor head assembly while stretch winding. So this way I can stretch wind the model. Once the model is completely wound up, take it out of the winding stooge, hold on to the main rotor assembly, release the wire lock that'll be in there. And in fact, I'll show you the wire lock. I have it here somewhere. I'm looking for it. Wire lock. I don't seem to have my... Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so anyway. As soon as I get the wire lock here, I'll show you. All right, so anyway, here's like the lock you can use for locking this up. And this just simply goes through here. And then it goes into that gray tubing, so it'll lock the assembly up like that. So this way, when you're ready, you just pull out the wire lock and then release the rotor, and you're all set to go. So this is what I've done with the Hughes 300. Haven't flown it yet. I've been really tempted to crank her up and let her fly, but I don't want to do this indoors, only for the fact is you've seen my results. They crash right into the wall. So I don't want to do that. The framework on this particular helicopter, as I stated before, is based on the Penny helicopter framework. The only difference is mine is made out of basswood, except for the boom, of course. The boom is made out of, you know, 2 laminations of 1/32 inch balsa wood to add to the strength with some, you know, spacers in the boom, so it's tongue and groove. So that's totally different from what the Penny helicopter was, but just kind of like the mast here and here, the framework there and there. That's from the basically rough designed from the Penny helicopter. So you know it's been redesigned. So look at it this way: it's kind of like a souped-up Penny helicopter with just the basic frame design used from the Penny helicopter. Otherwise, that I've redesigned everything: landing gear wire, skis different, tail rotor boom different, tail rotor assembly different. You know, it's got fins on it that the Penny didn't have. It's a geared drive. Rotor hub assembly is completely different. Rotor hub design is completely different, you know, from the Penny. So this is, like I said, this model is just basically loosely designed from the Penny helicopter and upgraded. So I have some pretty high hopes for this model. Once I got a gymnasium or a rec center down the street that I was able to get permission to fly in. So once I get the chance to go over there and actually do some test flights, we'll do some test flights on this indoors. I might even do some test flights on the new Huey as well. We'll see how it goes from there. Huey's a little bit heavy, but I should be able to get it at least off the ground and in the air. So bear with me on my test flights. Like I said, I just don't want to, I mean, I can do a test flight, and I do a brief one if I can catch it without crashing it into a wall. We'll see how I feel about that. I got to get some new rubber on order because my supply is almost gone as far as rubber goes. But I'll keep you guys posted as far as flights go. You know, if you see anything that you like, go ahead and hit a like. Make any kind of comments. I will answer all comments that may be made, and we'll take it from there. So this is Ray Kierna from Copter Concepts signing off. Thanks for watching. See you next time.